Hey guys, Sean with another episode of the Heavy Shield. Um, I know my videos are coming quicker and quicker. Hopefully, it means I'm helping more and more people have more and more to say. Today's episode is about when do you put the T in PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. Uh, who should be able to claim PTSD, when they should, what are the criteria for claiming PTSD? Should you be in actual combat? Should you be in the military or police or firefighters or EMS? Or just somebody that's civilian that saw a car accident or saw a shooting. I mean, where's the cutoff point? Where who should be allowed to claim PTSD and who shouldn't be? Um, and of course, obviously, I'm going to focus on the military aspect of this, and then a little bit on the side of the EMS and police and fire. Um, but the first thing I want to talk about is the actual term PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. It's not called post combat stress disorder. Okay, this PTSD terminology and most importantly diagnosis is not limited and will not and should not be limited only to military. The civilian sector obviously ask anybody in EMS in New York City on 9/11 what PTSD means. They've got the exact same definition and methodology of diagnosing it as any military member ever. So let's dispel this myth right now that PTSD is limited only to military. And I know not everybody knows that or realizes that or expects that or defines it as that. But it is a common misconception that PTSD is limited to military only. Uh, it's, unfortunately, it's one of those uh, states of being that that is discriminate in its application. It doesn't just belong to military folks. Um, I've mentioned before in other videos recently where police and firefighters and EMTs, paramedics, whatever, have to go through critical incident stress debriefings or whatever you call them in your state or town for tough calls where somebody commits suicide or somebody's shot, especially when the police have to shoot somebody in the line of duty. Firefighters have to pull burnt, crispy bodies out of buildings. I mean, these are all um, candidates for PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, not combat. So, again, like I said, let's dispel that myth right away from the get go that PTSD is only uh, reserved for those folks those of us that have been in combat. And then now let's dial it into just the military. Uh, PTSD diagnoses are not just reserved for combat arms folks. I've known plenty of folks that have, that are in against, so-called soft MOSs, and by soft MOSs, I don't mean you're soft emotionally or whatever. It's not a derogatory term. It just means non-combat arms. Soft MOSs, being finance or supply stuff like that. We all deploy. I've I've known a lot of supply guys and finance guys and non combat arms MOSs that have picked up a rifle and fired it in anger, um, or been hit by mortar rounds, artillery rounds. I mean, we're all downrange. We're all in a two-way range, right? Um, so it doesn't matter if your primary job is trigger puller or if that's your secondary job. It doesn't matter. Um, that's one thing I really want to get across from the beginning is I've in the past I've definitely been guilty of this if I've seen somebody trying to claim PTSD, not just I don't mean walking into their local VA and trying to claim PTSD. I'm I'm not sitting there watching these assholes come in and trying to verify their stories. I don't mean that. Just people I've known or heard of from other folks. Um, they're not infantry, they're not cav, they're armor, they're not combat medics, whatever, claiming PTSD. And back in the day, I used to make fun of those assholes. I'll be the first to admit, his if your primary job wasn't a trigger puller, um, and you're saying, "Oh, boo-hoo, woe is me," I saw this, I saw that, or I knew you didn't earn CIB or EIB or CMB. Go fuck yourself. What a fag. Pfft, really? You were inside the wire the whole time. You never walked a beat. You never fucking walked a single combat patrol. You never did a single route recon. Fuck you crying about? Uh, but it's not that simple. It's not that simple. We got a saying in the medical field: all pain is relative, right? If you come to my aid station and go, "Oh, my shoulder hurts," I'm not just gonna say, "What's the scale out of 1 to 10?" And that is a subjective, or excuse me, objective scale. 1 to 10. Everybody knows what a 10 is. What a 10 feels like. Everybody knows what a 1 feels like. No, that's not the case. It's completely subjective. We always have to qualify that question. What's your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 is little to no pain at all. 10 is the most amount of pain you've ever felt. You've ever felt. If you got your foot run over by a fucking tank and that's your 10 versus your worst pain might be getting stung by a bee, that's your scale. That's your 1 to 10, right? And the same thing goes for mental health. For brain pain, um, what's your scale is 1 to 10. What's the most amount of pain you've ever felt? Um, I knew a guy that we as soon as we got in country, my first deployment, he hold on, my cat's scratching at the door. Um, all we did was we had a road march from Kuwait to way in up country. Hey, what's up? Um, sorry, it's Kula. It's my best pal. Um, and we got into a couple firefights. It was barely considered tacks, or ticks. Um, had a couple pop shots taken at us, and because of that, he refused to go outside the wire. Um, he was a Cav Scout. We ended up moving him to the troop talk, working on fucking radio. Um, we gave him nonstop shit for the rest of the tour, the rest of the 15 months. I mean, this is like the first week, first few days we were in country, and we got pop, 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 pop. That was it. He flipped out, said, "Fuck you! You got the last click out of Junior. I'm done." Um, and we put in the work in the troop talk. Um, Last I heard, dude had 2 attempts on his life, like like suicide attempts. Um, so was this dude suffering from PTSD? Yeah, fucking absolutely. Was it all based on what the enemy did to him? No, probably not. Maybe because maybe he was just a weak individual. Maybe he was just a pussy. That's all what we all want to think about these people. Is if they're in this situation where compared to us, compared to our situations, compared to what we've been through, it's less. So yeah, obviously we're gonna think, dude's a fucking pussy, couldn't hack it, fuck you. Um, but here he is, 20 years later, or well, 15 years later. Um, Last I heard, he had tried committing suicide at least once, if not twice. If he had committed suicide, if he had followed through with it, it'd be fucking tragic. It's tragic enough that he fucking tried, right? So obviously, whatever he went through was bad enough to set him on this goddamn track. Um, is it any worse than what that I went through? I've never tried to commit suicide. I might have thought about suicide as a concept, um, and thought about fuck what I'm here. Here I am at this point in my life. Maybe the only thing that's open to me is suicide. I don't fucking want to end it all. Uh, it's I just can't see a way forward. I can't see myself trying to work my way through forward. Um, Whatever I'm going through based on whatever I've done, is that any worse than what he was thinking? No. Because the guy was thinking about fucking suicide. Doesn't matter how he got there. The fact that he got there is enough. Should be enough in and of itself. So, yeah, a lot of times we think lesser of people that can't hack it, that can't adjust to stressors that the rest of us can easily adjust to. But look at that term, easily adjust to. My way of adjusting to combat was getting into the mindset that I'm dead, and therefore anything I do outside of combat has no meaning whatsoever because I'm already dead. Sometime in these 15 months or 12 months, I'm gonna die. So why the fuck put some effort into some shit going on back home, whether it's family, girlfriend, um, you know, whatever. How is that more adjusted than what dude went through? It's not. Um, so again, I know there's a real thing. It's a bunch of assholes out there that the false valor, fake valor, or whatever. Um, Dudes talking all kinds of shit about stuff they saw, stuff they went through. Sorry, let me adjust my camera again. Um, and they went through some kind of thing and felt some kind of way. And I know a lot of us want to laugh at some of that stuff or just go, oh, what a pussy, whatever. yeah, that's your initial reaction. It was my initial reaction for a lot of times, a lot of instances. But again, all pain is real, and I'd feel like absolute shit if somebody I ever knew was going through some shit, and I knew they didn't go through some real shit, and then killed themselves. So anytime you hear somebody say, I'm going through, I have PTSD issues, I got, coming to you for some help, and you hear their story, and compared to yours, you might think initially, wow, what a fag. What? Seriously? That's all you went through? Fuck you. I lost a limb. I lost a leg. Um, and they got all four of their limbs and both eyes, both ears. Again, all pain is relative. Here's my cat. Come here. What's up, buddy? Say hey to everybody. So, hope you guys like this video. Um, Again, hope you guys find somebody to talk to. If I got nobody else to talk to, I can talk to Akula here. He's my best friend, along with my brother. Um, so, and talk to you guys next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.